by the numbers so that way you can see exactly how I came up with 14 days. So it'll give you some perspective. And after all, numbers don't lie. So if we take a look at these things and just give you some perspective, I'm just going to show you how you can actually do it. So take a book, for example. Okay, so if we take a book and we look at the number of words that it has, okay, so here we have the number of words, and here I'm going to take a quick look at my cheat sheet. Let's say you're looking for a book that's around 150 pages or so. You're looking at around 60,000 words. Okay, so this will give you, depending on font size, line size, it'll be about 150 to 200 page book. Okay, so that's typically kind of an average book that I'm looking for, right? We're looking at a general book. Now, the humans roughly, okay, so the human speech, okay, we speak at about 150 words per minute. Okay, so that is our speech, the speed of our speech. Now, if you use a program called something like Dragon Naturally Speaking, what it allows you to do, just like when you talk to your phone and it can write your text message for you or your email, the same thing. Dragon Naturally Speaking is a software program you can install on your computer, and by then it'll type out exactly what you're speaking, and this will help write your book and it'll help you accelerate that process. So rather than typing, let's say 70 words a minute or 40 words a minute, whatever your typing speed is, now you can simply speak it. And if you speak it, you can even get it transcribed even if you don't have this software. But if you do, it makes things a lot easier. And by the way, the links to the software is in the description below or towards the bottom of this page. Now, if we take a look at this, and let's just say maybe you speak a little slower, you're going back to check things. If you're speaking at 130 words per minute, and you multiply this times 60 minutes, okay, you're going to get, 7,800 words per hour. Okay, so pretty simple basic math, right? So you have a book that's about 60,000 words. Human speaks about 150. If you do 130 multiplied by 60 minutes, you get 7,800 words per hour. Now, if you did 1 hour per day, in the morning, in the evening, whatever, and you did it for 8 days, okay, so we go for 8 days or 8 sessions, you pretty much have, let's see here, 62,000, see if my math is right, 400 words, okay? So that is basically your book right there, written in 8 days. So you can see how quickly you can really speed this process up, especially if you're speaking. Now, one quick tip as far as when you're speaking and doing your book, don't go back to do the corrections. That you should do at a later stage or in another day, because if you constantly keep going back, it's going to slow the process down and your flow and your thinking process. But overall, if you're speaking through this process, you can see a 60,000 word book, and if you're going to about 150 pages or so, depending on font size and so on, and you're speaking at about 130 words per minute, 60 minutes will give you about 7,800 words per hour. In 8 days, you get 62,400 words. So you've basically written your book. Now, you haven't proofed it yet. You haven't done the proofing to it. So you might go ahead and decide to do a few other things. So you might spend, 1 day here, 1 day there. So this might be day 2. So 1 day might be for proofing. Another day might be for cover design. Then you have another day where you might do the advertising setup or the launch. You might have another day where you're doing formatting. So there's a lot of other days that you really need to finalize that book. Just because you've written it in 8 days doesn't mean you're completely done with the book. You still probably will need to upload it to your printer, to CreateSpace, to whatever medium that you're getting it done on. But all these things maybe takes another day or two. So they take time to really develop, whether that's, setting up your social media, writing a blog post about it, doing a launch about it. Those take time. It could be that you're doing, let's say number 7, an interview. Okay, you're doing book interviews there as well. So all those things take time to really build up. But as far as writing the book process, if you just look at the numbers specifically and you say, okay, well, I'm looking to write about a 60,000 word book, 150 pages or so. We speak at about 150. If I do 130, it gives me in 1 hour about 7,800 words per hour. So even if it was 100 words per minute, you could just write for an hour and a half or an hour and 20 minutes. So again, those kinds of things help accelerate the process. And now you get about 7,800 words per hour or session if you're going a little bit longer and you're speaking a little slower. 8-10 days, you have your book and you have a couple of days remaining to finalize some of these other things. So I hope this really allows you to see the numbers and by the numbers, because if you break things down and you do it systematically by the numbers, there's no reason why you can't have a book done within 14 days. Now the question of course comes down to other factors. Is it going to be uploaded? Will you have a good cover design? Will you have the advertising it's going to be nicely formatted? Are all those things going to be set up in 14 days? That depends how good you schedule all these other things. But as far as writing it, the first initial phase to just get the things in your mind on paper and have something substantial to where you can start doing the proofing, the editing, the formatting, that you can definitely do in 14 days. And I hope this really shows you the possibilities of what you can do. And it's one of the reasons why I'm able to write quite a handful of books in a short amount of time. Thanks for joining me in this week's training video. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see other training videos like this one or get access to my exclusive training content about growing your business, evolving